The beat. Let the vocals out, now you witnessing a survivor speak. I done messed around and went viral right from my driver's seat. Just like what the industry was containing. I'd rather make a difference instead of hating, complaining. So let me park the whip, it don't matter, rapper or model chick, singer or comedian, perfect. Let's park in politics. Hey, let's park in politics. Welcome to the pullover, let's park in politics. This the pullover, let's park in politics. I say this the pullover, let's park in politics.
That's what's up, y'all. Thank you for waiting. The show must go on, but we're truck drivers. So I must say that, number one, bad weather up here in the Midwest right now. I mean, it is fucking terrible. So if you're on I-90, 80, or 294, please be careful. All right, drive, give yourself some distance, and just drive safe. All right. I was over at the TA over there off of 8094. Actually, I got stuck in the parking lot, so I couldn't get up out of there because I couldn't even get a signal. But I am over here at the Flying J. I get over here, got a good signal, but I am stuck over here too. So as soon as the show's over with, y'all know what that means. I got to go in there and get some salt and try to get my ass up out of here. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Lockoutmen Podcast Show. I am your host, Lockoutmen, and tonight's guest is a special guest. I've been following this guy for a good minute. I'd like to welcome to the show, Womenintrucking.
Thank you. It's good to be here, man. I'm excited.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. This man reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, let's get this talk show going right now." I was like, "Yo, let's get it, man." That's what's up. Womenintrucking, welcome to the show tonight. Thank you for being here, man. Let's just jump right into it, man. Let's start with your background. Where you came from, how you get into trucking, all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, first of all, appreciate you having me. I'm glad to be here. And I got into trucking. I didn't know I had a trucker in the family until I was actually already a truck driver. So that's kind of interesting. That'll come into play a little bit later. But man, I was just kind of floating about, to be honest. I was unsure of kind of what I wanted to do with my life, where I wanted to go, the direction that I wanted to go. And I wound up having a conversation with a truck driver, and they said that you should check it out. And a lot of the things that we talked about, it seemed like a really good fit for me, especially at the time, kind of going through it a little bit, through some personal things. So, I decided that I'm going to give it a shot. And we had that conversation on a Wednesday, and the following Monday, I was actually in class to get my CDL. I didn't have the money to get my CDL on my own, so I went to kind of one of the larger carriers and obtained it that way. Went through their truck driving school, and I made it, man. I survived. Thankfully, those are not easy to get through, but I made it out the other side, and that was May 2012.
All right,
so it's been a minute.
So Driven, it seems as though this is like a theme now, that it seems like like us guys getting into the game, relatively late. I got into it back in 2014, or at the end of 2014. You came into it in 2012. It seems as though that issues brought us in this industry. Like my issue, to be honest, and I'll be honest, I'll let it off the chest a little bit. Me and my wife, we went through our thing, and then we separated. I was running my roadside business, and I just pretty much told my son right then and there, I was like, "Look, me and your mom separated. There's pretty much nothing here for me no more, man." And he was like, "Well, it's time for you to go." Yeah. So I just took I took that credit card that had the $6,000 on it, went to Tri-C trucking school and burnt it on that, and here I am 6 years later. So um what was your issues? Like what what was going on in your life at the time that
Yeah, actually that was, kind of similar story a little bit. I one of my recent videos, I talked about, kind of one of the stigmas that nobody talks about, no matter what industry that you're in, but especially that we deal with here, in trucking, and that's, I was in a depression. I didn't know that I was in a depression at the time. I hadn't been in it long enough. I was unable to kind of recognize, the signs. Growing up, I was always very extroverted, kind of everywhere with everybody, hanging out, doing all the things, and just over time, my personality kind of changed, and I had a lot of failures, a lot of things that I did not accomplish. Things that I felt like I was kind of wasted, like I kind of wasted my life up until this point. I didn't I was very blessed to be, at least somewhat intelligent, and I felt like I kind of wasted that intelligence. I was blessed with athletic abilities, but physical injuries kind of caused me to not be able to pursue those. Like I tried joining the military, I couldn't even join the military because my knee is so jacked up. So I mean, it's got to be bad if the military won't even take you. But so there was a lot of things that kind of accumulated up until this point in my life, and then the ultimate, I guess, the final nail in the coffin was I was married, and unfortunately, we were separated. We wound up getting divorced. I don't know, maybe a few months before I actually departed on this journey. So very similar story.
hold on, there you go. All right, my sound cut out. Let me make sure I get my sound check. Check 1 2, can you hear me? Check check check.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, okay. Guys in the chat, can you hear us good? And this beeping noise, I'm about to kick that in the thing. It's so much going on tonight, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Bad weather, me getting stuck in the parking lot, this beeping noise. Guys, just bear with us tonight. Just bear with us tonight.
We're gonna make it.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the same, me and my wife, we separated, and we, I tried to make it, come back, but same thing with me. I tried to do the military thing, that didn't work. Unfortunately, I only played basketball in my junior high. When I was in high school, I never, did the basketball thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it seems as though that, throughout my lifetime, I had issues with just working with other people. And the jobs that I came across, I did everything. I did it all, restaurants jobs, warehouse jobs, retail jobs, odd end jobs. It was one company that I really, really enjoy, but unfortunately they went out of business. And and I one day my keys got locked in my car. I called up Verizon. They sent a Papa Lock guy out to me, and I looked at him. I was like, "Man, you make that look easy, bro. How can I do that?" So me and him hooked up. He got me hooked up with the franchise owner at the time. I got with him. I made pretty good money with him. Um, he sold his franchise to another guy, and at that downtime while we was transitioning, I looked at all of the pay stubs that I had, or the settlements that I had, and I was looking at the different companies that we was servicing,
Mhm.
companies like Allstate, AAA. And I was like, huh, So I started doing my homework. I ran to the computer, pulled up AAA and seen the application. I filled out the application and they called me up. They offered me a contract and it just went from there. So that's how the roadside business started. I was what I did that for like 8 years.
Mhm.
But like I said, um, when me and my wife was, when our marriage was deteriorating, it just pretty much went to the downside. That and the business while everybody is coming into this, everybody is just like coming into the
Yeah.
business. It's just like with the trucking, it's like everybody is want to be an owner operator. Everybody wants to be a lease op. And and
Yeah.
with that said, you got everybody that's coming in that's just saturating the whole field. How
Mhm.
how does that work out for you being an owner op?
Well, it's very cyclical, and trucking in general, especially from like when you're looking at it from the owner operator side, like the business side, rather than being the company driver, you have to look at the industry as a whole. And if you understand that things are cyclical, it's going to help you. It's really going to help you navigate the trucking industry, and it's going to really allow you to be successful long term. And what I mean is that freight freight always it goes up and then it comes down. On the way up, everybody's making really good money, everybody's happy, everybody's waving at the neighbor as they pass by, and everybody's good. But that's also when everybody's coming into the industry because they're seeing all this money that's being made. So everybody's buying a truck, everybody's starting their own authority, and everybody's but projections are based on numbers that are in this incline. And if you get into it, unfortunately, at the top of that incline, you see that the average they're making 240, 250 a mile. Well, you're probably going to base your business model on that. And so it's an unfortunate thing, but it's inevitable that when the cyclical part, when the other side of the trucking industry hits, everything goes down. The freight goes down, so the supply goes down, therefore the same thing happens, the demand goes down, therefore the rate per mile goes down. I mean, as owner operators look at it as gross, but it's easy to talk in rate per mile because that way everybody kind of understands. So the rate per mile goes down, and then these people that have these high obligations, that have these expenses, that came into it unfortunately when it was a good point to come into the industry, they're now going out of business. And so the more trucking companies that go out of business, out of business, out of business, well, then that supply and demand curve pretty much levels out. And then just like everything does, everything comes back in, and then you're going to see it all over again. So it's
How
one of those things, you have to ride the curve and understand that if you can make it on when the economy is bad, or when the trucking industry is bad, when the rates are low, if you can survive when the rates are low, you can certainly thrive whenever the rates are high. Just
how
got to
much
save
of
for a
a
rainy day.
how much of a headache is it for you guys though? I mean, it's you've been driving you've been driving since 2012. You was company driver for 5 years
Hmm.
before you brought your own truck. So in the midst of the 5 years, let me pull back for a second. In the midst of the 5 years that you was a company driver, that's where you was learning everything you need to know to become an owner operator.
I was it's shameful to admit, but to be honest, whenever I was a company driver, I was just a steering wheel holder. I didn't. I was just blissfully ignorant, and I happened to land a really top paying job. And there's not a ton of those. They are out there, but there's not a ton. And I mean, I was making, some years I made, just broke into six figures. The other years I was making about 90 plus. So I was doing really, really well. Thought, oh, this is just going to last forever, and was just, I don't know, going about my business. But I really understood that I wanted more. And so I started learning how to the first thing I started to learn was how to operate the truck, or how to choose the right truck, or how to maintain the truck. What's the proper maintenance schedule? And then I realized, okay, well, turbos go out roughly 800,000 miles. So when my truck reaches that number, I need to have that amount of money sitting in my account. So I kind of prepared myself for things that are going to, or either they're going to happen inevitably. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. That's how I started. And then as I dipped into it more, I've always been, inquisitive. I would ask people, as many questions as I can, and the different owner operators that I could grab their ear, I would just ask them, how can I, how can I be profitable? How can I, how can I do this? How can I survive? And just off of the different advice that I've gotten along the way, and I still get all of the time. That's why I created the YouTube channel, was to pass along that information that was given to me, so that way when other people decide to get into this industry, they're not blindsided. The first thing I always talk about every time, for owner operators or people that are considering becoming an owner operator, is give yourself a financial education. Period. That's where it all starts. When you're an owner operator, this is a money game. It's not a trucking game anymore. It's a money game. And if you
Oh,
can,
right.
yeah. So that's, yeah. Yeah. Long answer. I'm kind of
no,
winded. Sorry.
no, you good. No, you good. You good. That's what's up. This what people, this is what people need to hear. Now back to the headache part. How much of a headache is it when you're trying to go up against these new jacks that's coming in, that's freshly getting the new truck, and a greenhorn like myself that don't know what the fuck to do. I'm just taking all kinds of loads, 80
Mhm.
cent, 50 cent, just messing. It's like playing blackjack. You know, the one guy he hits, like, okay, when it comes to you, either you're going to take you're going to
Yeah.
fuck the table up by taking the burn card, or you're going to let the table be good by not taking the burn card. How much of a headache is it for you to try to steer with all these new jacks coming into play?
It certainly affects, the entire economy. And that's why, you know, uh, that's why when owner operators, or new carriers, true owner operators, those are the ones that actually have their own numbers, their own authority, those guys have more of a headache to deal with than necessarily I do. When you're out there running the spot market, it's extremely volatile. Like let's take refrigerated freight right now. Refrigerated freight on the spot market is just booming. I mean, it's just crazy right now. And I'm leased onto Landstar, and I've looked at the refrigerated freight actually earlier today, and right now it's really good at Landstar, but it's not doing what the spot market is doing right now. But give it time. Whenever the spot market is always the first to fluctuate. It's always the first to dip. It's the last to rise. And so it's very hard to make it on the spot market. And whenever guys start taking these loads that don't pay enough, then they're causing, like it's like a little earthquake, and then the shatter, or the waves protrude all the way out through the trucking industry. So that one guy that takes that one load that runs for $1.50 a mile, when he does that one time, then the effects are felt for weeks, because now the broker now has ammunition against the truckers to say, well, I've just moved this last week for $1.50 a mile, so this is what the rate is. And no matter how good of a negotiator that old hand is, he's not going to be able to get what he should be getting on that run. It should be a $3 a mile run, but they caught somebody sleeping. They caught a newbie. And so that's why it's so important for, whenever you hear a lot of the old hands, don't run cheap freight.
Mhm.
It's more than that, but and, I mean, I guess whenever you break it down to the bare bones, yeah, don't run cheap freight. Like, these brokers, their number one goal is to make as much money as they possibly can, and you can't necessarily fault them for it, because if somebody's going to run a load, then they did their job. And so, it would be much better for us to educate, the trucking industry as a whole, and say, look, you don't have to run this freight. They're just negotiating with you. Just negotiate back with them and raise that rate up, and then we can all just make lots of money and be merry.
How was it for you, transitioning from a company driver into an owner op? What was the steps that you took to come along the way? Did you go lease beforehand, or did you just jump right into just buying a truck and let everything come?
Well, I think the lease purchase is I'm just sorry to step on toes here, but I think lease purchase is probably the biggest scam there is in the trucking industry. It's certainly one of
You're
them.
not stepping. You're not stepping on no toes, man. You're
Oh yeah,
not
it's
stepping
just
on
facts,
no
right?
toes. No shots fired. None,
Yeah.
none at all.
I
You're not
mean,
stepping on it because a lot of people, including myself, is very skeptical of leasing, and I have talked
mhm,
to many companies that's pushing this on
sure,
new drivers. As a matter of fact, I
absolutely.
I just made a call today, and the guy was just, he was telling me that the company side, you make 70 cents an hour, yada yada yada. But let me tell you about our lease. Wait a
Okay.
minute, I'm interested in the company. Hold up. But let me tell you about the lease,
Mhm,
just sunshine and roses. So
yeah.
yeah, I agree with you. You're
Yeah.
not stepping on no toes, bro.
Yeah, so yeah, that's actually my most recent video is talking about lease purchase, and there's a reason why these companies push this lease purchase, because what it does is essentially it puts all of the risk onto the person in that lease purchase, in that contract. It takes away their risk entirely. They're not responsible for the maintenance on the truck. They're not responsible for the payment on the truck. They're probably making profit on the weekly payment of the truck. I don't know anybody, that's it's $4,000 for a brand new truck. You can get a brand new Peterbilt Steve Rod custom pimp Peterbilt 389 for less than what the majority of these new truck lease purchase programs offer. So it's
twelve hundred
ridiculous.
dollars a week, man. That's
Oh man,
crazy.
it's insane. And so, they prey on these people that don't understand the trucking industry yet, that aren't, they don't know. They're thinking, oh well, it's good to be an owner operator. Yeah, they're calling them owner operators. Ah, no, no, they're just, no offense to anybody, but they're glorified company drivers. You go kind of where they tell you. They're offering you just a handful of loads. Oh, here, choose which one would you like. And it's a joke. So I went straight into owner operator. Now I
Now
did go
before
through.
before before now before you answer that, did you
Okay.
did you save along the way, or you just went in you just went in with good credit and got your truck?
I I actually had no intention. Well, I can't necessarily say that. I had done some research, but I hadn't planned on making the jump yet. I was certainly going to save and do it that way, because I was making pretty good money, so it would have been easy for me to save. However, overnight my miles almost got cut in half, and so I had literally just closed. If my headset dies, it's yelling at me in my ear. I hope it doesn't affect anything. Just want to let you know.
If your headset died, your sound on your phone should kick on automatically. If not,
Okay.
just go back. If you have to step out, like go out and then come
Mhm.
back in, that's cool. That's
Okay.
cool.
Okay. So I had the ability to save, but I didn't have enough time at this point. I had literally just closed on a house, and then my son, my firstborn, was due in a month, and my income was basically cut into about two-thirds. And
Mm.
so it was pretty scary time. And, me and my wife had built this, this life that we kind of envisioned, and it certainly didn't involve a 2/3 pay cut. So I was kind of forced to go owner operator. I had to make a good amount of money, and there's
To
not a whole
continue
lot of
your
other
life.
things. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of other things that truck drivers can do to make the same type of money that we make. So I took out, you're not supposed to do it this way. I certainly don't. I don't teach it this way, but I wound up taking out a loan, and I actually went through Lone Mountain to get my truck,
Okay. How
and
was your experience with them?
my experience. I'm about to pay off the truck actually.
Okay. Okay.
It's been really good. Now I will say this: the day that I went and picked up my truck, I got there at 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that, 8 or 9. I was there in the morning, and I didn't sign the paperwork until about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, something like that. I
Mhm.
searched every inch of that truck. I was pulling parts off in the parking lot. My salesman said, "Look," he came out to me. He said, "Look, don't shoot the messenger." But my manager he told me to tell you to stop taking apart the truck because they he didn't appreciate it. I said, "Well, if he wants me to buy this truck, he's going to allow me to do what I need to do."
Right.
So,
What kind of stuff is that? I
yeah,
mean,
well, I mean, I guess I kind of understand. I mean, I was
no,
literally taking parts
that
off the
no,
truck.
bro. That is nothing to understand. This is the truck you want, so you want to pick it apart
Yeah,
and make sure everything works.
yeah,
That
exactly.
I
There,
don't want to. I don't want to drive it off the lot, and all of a sudden the transmission falls out, and then
I
you're going to
mean,
turn around and tell me it's yours. Uh,
yeah, right. Yeah, it was, it was one of those things where I had seen there were 3 other guys there picking up their truck that day. And all 3 of them got there after me, were there no more than like maybe 3 hours total for the longest one, and they all left before me. And I was just like, man, this is a huge
a huge
decision.
purchase.
And it's like, yeah, you're I don't know about you guys, but man, my family relies on this, so I'm gonna check this truck out. And
Right.
yeah, like I mean, it was crazy. They had to put new steer tires on it. I found a couple of sensors that were bad. They wouldn't replace those. Um, they were cheap though, so I didn't make too big of a fuss. But I did get 2 brand new steers out of it, and I mean a couple minor aesthetic things. But yeah,
Hold
good
up.
deal.
They selling the truck, and you mean to tell me they didn't want to put sensors on it?
Well, the
Really?
thing was the sensors, like they were working, they were functional, but in the research that I had done, they were about to fail. So it was one of those things like, they didn't have to do it. They didn't necessarily, it wasn't something that had to be changed, but I tried to get them to change it. They just wouldn't.
So you would suggest you personally would suggest to anybody to give that truck a thorough inspection, not just get in there and look at the pretty cockpit and everything. You want them to open up the hood,
Oh yeah.
take the CSI light and just go through go through nooks and crannies so before
Yeah,
they
100%.
take it off, because this
100%.
this is a big purchase. Everybody that comes into this industry, every new jack that comes into this industry, everybody that's in the Facebook group, oh, I got my new truck, yada yada yada. But how well do you know that truck? I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
I'm a company driver, and
Mhm.
I'm going through the motions. I mean, the next 5 years, maybe. I talk to enough people. I'm talking to you. I talk to a few other guys that that's our successful owner operators. So, maybe I might just, dip into that realm right there. But I'm still learning. You
Sure.
know what I'm saying? I'm still learning. So before any and everything, I think it's like you said, you should know the truck, because that's the big investment right there. Because if the truck breaks down, then what?
Yeah, you're paying for it. So, it's nice when it looks good, and all these dealers are very, very good at putting the nice shiny stuff on the wheels and painting the frames, even painting over the rust spots. Unfortunately, that is what they did with this truck. They painted over the rust spots. I mean, it's blatantly obvious, but it's one of those things that a lot of people, you got to understand when you're making large purchases like that, that your emotions are very, very high. And that's like number one job as a car salesman is to get people's emotions up, because commotion creates emotion, and emotion creates purchases. And so,
Mhm.
that's why you see a lot of animated car salesmen. They trying to boost that emotion. And the more that this truck looks cool, and the chrome's all nice and shiny, not even polished, it's just clean, it gets everybody's emotions up, and then they're like, yes, I want that truck. And that's the wrong thing to do. Like, looking at the aesthetics of the truck is the last thing that you should do. And you should be looking at the engine. The engine is the number one thing. So, definitely familiarize yourself with the moving parts of the truck, and not what's in the cab. And ooh, it's got the
Exactly.
gauge package, and it's got the chrome on it. Like, yeah, that none of
Yeah,
that matters.
the shiny, the
Yeah,
shininess and all like that. The ooh, the ah. You don't pull refrigerated freight no more. You have a step deck now, or open deck.
I do. Yep, I've got a step deck, and that's what I started. I started pulling refrigerated freight. I did that for all my company years. And then I went into flatbed. I pulled a flatbed for a while, and then I actually bought my first trailer. I bought a 53-foot low pro step deck. So
What made you decide to jump from refrigerated freight to getting in the flatbed? Because see, I'm thinking I'm thinking you're about the same age I am. I'm in my 50s. You know what I'm saying? I think flatbed is a young man's game. But what brought you to flatbed?
first, I'm 39, but it's all good. I know the
You
beard makes
still
me
a
look
young man.
really
It's a
old,
young
man.
man's game. There you go.
But it is.
There you go.
It is very much a young man's game, and to be honest, I'm feeling it every day. But I enjoy being physical. I enjoy working out, and it seemed like kind of a natural fit. And then a lot of reefer owner operators are going to kind of argue with me, but the most money to be made out here is generally on the open deck side of things. Seasonally, you can probably make more money pulling reefer, and ultimately, to have the best setup, you probably want to own a reefer and an RGN, and then you can just make all the money. But I enjoyed the physicality of open deck, and I ultimately I want to do heavy haul, but I don't know if that's necessarily something that I don't know if I've got enough years left in the tank to go through that journey. So I don't know. We'll
Well,
see.
I thought, my man C1 Specialized,
Yeah,
he's
he's
in the
awesome.
building. He's a heavy haul. That was a great conversation right there.
Yeah.
It seemed, between heavy haul and just regular flatbed, it just seems like more, more. You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's
a
like
lot
it's
more.
like it's like drive in and pulling hazmat. It's just more. But
Right.
is it worth the money though? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I mean, absolutely. The more you specialize yourself, it's just like doctors. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of a weird example, but your
No,
generic
good example.
physician, your family physician, doctor, they make good money, but they make nothing compared to a brain surgeon. The more you specialize yourself, the more you're going to make. Even if it's, if you're drive-in, you're going to make more money pulling hazmat. If you're reefer, you're going to make more money pulling refrigerated hazmat. If you're open deck, you're going to make more money doing heavy haul. It's just the thing where, the thing that kind of separates the men from the boys is that balance sheet. Because certainly when you get into doing, like heavy haul stuff, man, the escorts and the permits and the little minor things that cost 10 grand. It's just like, that's crazy to me, but the numbers are crazy too. So you're going to make more money, but the headaches and the growing pains are much larger. So it's worth it, absolutely. But it's one of those things that you need to have a really good guru or a teacher, kind of pointing you in the right direction. And me and C1 talk a little bit. So
you got into it, and instead of going to the regular school, you went to the mega carrier. Which mega carrier was that, and how was the experience?
well, I mean, larger company for sure. It was FFE time. This was before they were purchased by L.O.M. So I don't know, like, they operated like a mega carrier. So I mean, it was it was pretty much similar. But I went to FFE back then. They had a terminal. I was living in the DFW area. They had a terminal right there, right by my house. So I knew, kind of getting through the house wouldn't be an issue. And I apologize. What was the second half of the question?
What was the experience?
Okay. The experience was, like I said, I think I think I had a much different experience than most do when getting into trucking. I loved it. I was fascinated by it. I was only solo by myself for 2 or 3 months before I was asked to, basically join a team, be a team driver, and pull dedicated freight. When I went to the team operation, I mean, my income literally tripled. And so I was doing that, and I was going to all the same spots, and so it was great. Like, our actual schedule was 3 weeks on, 1 week off. Although my co-driver liked to work all the time, I was single, and so I didn't care. We worked a lot. I don't even know. I think we worked at one point. I think we worked maybe 4 or 5 months straight. I'm not sure, but I enjoyed it. I don't think that's the norm, but had a good experience.
All right, so along the way in your journey, to be the super guy, but I see a lot of I see a lot of these drivers that's turning to owner operations. I see a lot of guys that has aspirations to owning more trucks. I see guys that has aspiration of wanting to own a fleet. How hard is it just to operate the one truck, let alone trying to find somebody to drive two or three?
Very hard. That's why I kind of laugh. That's certainly not laughing at anyone, but I had those same aspirations too. Before I owned a truck, oh, I wanted to start a fleet, and I wanted to start my own company, and I wanted to grow a mega fleet, and I had all these nice things that I wanted to do. And then you get in your own truck, and just to make it profitable, you realize is quite the task. And you know there went the headset. So can you hear
And
me?
now, yeah, I can hear you. It clicked on your
Okay.
phone.
So just to get the one truck, to make it profitable is, it's no small feat. And because there's so many different things that, when you're a company driver, that are done in the background, that are done on the maintenance end of things, that you don't put a whole lot of thought towards, that whenever you're now an owner operator, you're doing it all yourself. It's a big deal. And
the time management, the more trucks that you add, there comes a point when it's actually more beneficial for your time to be out of the truck. I think when that transition happens, it might become a little bit easier, but I don't know if it's necessarily ever easy allowing someone else to drive your truck and to treat your truck the way that you treat it. So, the number one battle for fleet owners is finding solid drivers. And the only way that you can do that is to pay them well. And the only way you can do that is to operate at, thin profit margins. So I don't think it's never an easy thing. If you can survive till you have about 5 to 7 trucks, it's going to be a struggle. But once you reach that kind of 5 truck mark or 7 truck mark, this is coming from people that own fleets, that's when it really opens up. That's when you start to see quite a bit of money rolling in, and that's when it becomes a little bit less of a headache. But
now,
certainly,
when you got people that's coming in, that want let's take YouTubers for example. All right, so I see a few. No shots fired. No shots fired before I
not
start.
yet.
No shots fired. But I see a lot of YouTubers coming in. They're getting their business together. They got these contracts. They're doing good. They got 3-4 trucks, and they're getting more trucks on the side. They on YouTube saying, how good everything is, but what happened if that one guy just come in and miss the load? What happened if that one guy tears up the truck? What happened if that guy steals your truck? Because I talked to a young lady that actually had, she vetted the guy. She thought he was good, but he stole the truck, took the wheels off and everything. She had to go and literally built the truck back up so she can get it moved. How, again, you got everybody that's saying, yo, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But what about on the flip side of things? Like, what is you guys doing? Tell us, what are you guys doing in situations like that?
Yeah, and that's the risk. Unfortunately, like that's the risk that's involved. Just having your own truck, your one truck, and you're driving your truck. Obviously, you're going to treat your truck better than anybody else is going to ever treat your truck. So that's something that you have to take into account. That your maintenance cost right out of the gate is going to be much higher when someone else runs your equipment than if you run your equipment. Because, I get out there and pop the hood, pretty much every day. And I'm looking, I can see a leak developing. I can see, this or that. Whereas somebody that is just a steering wheel holder, they don't care. They're just there for the money. They don't care. So first of all, right out of the gate, like you got to understand that when, somebody else is running your truck, your maintenance is higher. You got to take that into consideration before you ever purchase that second truck. And it's one of those things that if you don't have a huge nest egg, like if you the hardest part is going from 1 to 5 trucks and beyond. This is hearsay, of course. I don't have this experience, but this is what every single fleet owner has told me, every single one of them. They said once, the hardest part is getting beyond that 5 truck mark. And that's because when you may have 2 trucks break down. Well, if you have 2 trucks that blow motors, well, now you're looking at $60,000 you need to come out of pocket. You've got 2 trucks that are no longer making money. Even if you have 5 trucks, that's 2/5 of your fleet. So now you really don't have any money coming in because the 3 trucks are just now paying for the 5 trucks. So you have to have such a massive nest egg, and one bad week and it's over for you.
It's over. One bad accident that could take out a whole spectrum of things. Yeah. What do you say? What do you say to guys that that's like, I can handle it. I can do it. I can do it. I can handle it. What do you say to the hard-headed guys?
I mean, are you talking about like the guys that are wanting to run a fleet, or the ones that are wanting to buy one truck? I mean,
Both.
the guys that are running a fleet, especially if they don't even own a truck, I tell them, look, you just need to start with one first. You need to make sure that one is profitable, and then at that point, if you can do that, then we can discuss the future. But without even having knowledge of being an owner operator, to say that, oh, I want to buy, I want to have 5 trucks, or I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy 5 trucks, but I don't even know how this industry works. I mean, that's kind of asinine to me. I tell them to do your research, give yourself a financial education, learn how to, like the basics of finances, how to work a P&L, how to forecast maintenance costs. I mean, these are all skills that you should have before you ever, even come out here. I know that the majority don't operate that way, but that's also why the failure rate's so damn high. I tell a lot of guys that you want to have cash set aside. And if you don't have cash set aside, you need to have access to credit. And you need to have, if you're working on credit, you need to have access to about 30 grand. At any given point, you need to be able to access $30,000. Or, having cash, the minimum, you need to have 15 grand. And that's minimum. You better you're rolling the dice at that point. So if you don't have that, you might make it, you might not. If one breakdown, it could wipe out your entire maintenance account. The next week, if you pop a tire, could be out of business.
You don't have nothing to cover that.
Yeah.
This evening special guest is my man Womenintrucking from YouTube. Let me go ahead and acknowledge you guys. I know I haven't acknowledged you guys, and I apologize, but it's the fact that we had a late start because of everything that's going on right now. So I'm not ignoring you, but I'll go ahead and acknowledge you. Resto, what's going on? A&E, how you feel? Bill Worm, what's going on? Nevada Trucking Nevada Trails, what's going on? Let's see. TJ Jones, the Bull, Teddy the Trucker, Father D, Mom Deuce Love, what's going on? My Mocha DMG, you already got my message, so you know what to do after the show. Jonathan Robertson, what's going on? Jay Hims, what's up? Chaplain, what's going on? Screech, how you feel? How is it in Ohio, bro? I know if it's bad up here, then I know it's bad over there. Stuart, what's going on? Let's see, Jonathan. Let's see, Stephanie, how you doing? Trucking with Curtsy, still waiting. I'm just saying. Still waiting.
I recognize a lot of the names.
C1 was good. D Nitty, the troublemaker, what's going on? Let's see. Beads Knees, what's up with it, bro? Bo Diddley, how you feel? And Fitzgerald Gatson, what's going on, everybody? I appreciate all you guys here. Like I said before, my man Womenintrucking is over here blessing the Lockoutmen podcast. I know you guys have a few questions, and I see you guys talking amongst one another. I've seen one. I'm trying to back up. If I don't find it, I'll just paraphrase it. So one of the guys in the chat says he's starting trucking soon. He says, what tips do you have for him? Because he's about to start.
Okay. About to start. It's a general question, but I'll do my best. I would say that ask your trainer as many questions as possible. And if you feel like you're just a logbook, basically your trainer's not teaching you along the way, like you just feel like you're just there to move the truck down the road and make that person, not him, that person money, get with the person in charge and find a new trainer. Make sure that these trainers actually provide you with the tools necessary to do the job out here, because school can only teach you so much. You got to get that OJT. So, but you got to get it from somebody that's actually doing it right, that can spread the knowledge that they've accumulated however long they've been doing it. Even if they've only been doing it 6 months, they've got a decent amount of knowledge. They don't know everything, but they're going to certainly help you along and make it easier for you to do your job. So ask as many questions as you can, and don't be afraid to ask stupid questions. I do it all the time.
Let me ask you this: we still on the subject of owner operators and new jacks that's getting into it. I see the issue. I ran a successful roadside business for about eight to 9 years before I got into the truck. I did it by myself. I mean, that's why I call myself Lockoutmen, because the companies that I contracted with, they thought I had like 2 or 3 guys, but I was the one that was grinding, call after call after call from 8 a.m. to midnight. That's how it was. I was grinding like I was like 5 guys, but I tried to bring people on. I tried to bring people on. My issue is that people just don't see your vision.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, they don't care. They only there just to drive the truck. Yeah, I just care about this, yada yada yada. I don't care about the truck, yada yada yada. They don't see your vision. And I just feel that if you get people that don't see your vision, I think that's where the issues come in at. Because I had a couple of guys. One guy actually stole my equipment that I gave him. The $400 lockout kit, the $200 drill for the lugs and all like that. And he had the audacity to call me up and be like, "Yo, bro, you got my check?"
Wow. There's all kinds out there, man. There's all kinds.
You got my equipment?
Yeah.
No, I told you I got robbed. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to use your check to pay for you getting robbed, bro. But check this out. Miraculously, it popped back up the next day. Hey, the guy that took it from me, I went and got it back. Really?
What?
Oh, okay.
What?
So can I have my check? If everything's in there, including if everything's in there, I'll just take out a little bit. I'll take out a little bit of money for wasting my time. How's that?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think people see your vision. And that same goes for the truck, right? You're a new owner operator. You just got yourself another truck. Not to say you, but you're our owner operator. You got yourself another truck, and now you want to find somebody to drive that truck. How is it going to be, and how do you find people that see your vision? Because unfortunately, they only see the money. They only see what you make, and it's kind of hard to tell them, like, yo, don't look at my pockets. Don't look. I'm not making no money. I gotta pay for the dispatchers. I gotta pay for the maintenance of the truck. I'm barely putting money in my pocket. I'm making like $50. And I gotta pay, don't look at me. So how hard is it to get somebody to see your vision of building the dynasty that you call trucking?
It's very difficult. That's the finding, or the drivers essentially are going to make or break a fleet. And You know, that's just the way that it is. And if you hire one bad apple, it could put you out of business. And so, you know, I guess the way to combat that is to have a very extensive hiring process, but then you probably, you know, you may lose some good candidates along the way. So it's tough to find the right drivers. And, you know, people are very fickle, and they may bounce at something very, very simple. You know, you unfortunately, it's sad, but you know, nowadays it's probably best to micromanage people. And so, you know, if you have drivers, I hate to say it, but you probably want to micromanage your drivers, you know, until they really have put in the time and they've proved to you that they can do the job, they can do it the way that you want to do it. Then, you know, micromanagement, I would say, is kind of key. And the more that you could kind of streamline that process, you know, like, you know, maybe making a pre-trip inspection that they literally have to fill out and send in to you every single day. And, you know, I mean, just, it's stupid things like that. But at the same time, like, they're not stupid from a business perspective, because they're actually doing those pre-trip inspections. Well, now, you know, if something pops up, then you get to come back at that person. Hey, look, you know, I pay you X amount of dollars, which is top dollar in the industry, because I expect you to do an inspection, and now you're lying to me about it. You told me that it was perfect, but yet, you know, this came up today. So what's up, man? You know, do you want this job? Do you take it seriously? And you kind of put it back on them. The micromanagement sounds, I hate saying it. I hate being micromanaged, and I know people hate it, but
you gotta look at it you gotta look at it as you the owner now.
Yeah.
You know, you can't look at it as a buddy thing. Hey,
no,
buddy,
never.
My friend. That's unfortunately, that's why money and family and job and all that never works.
No, it never works.
My man Cigar Boss, what's going on? I put this comment up on the board for you. He says it's the Cigar Boss, bruh. He said have him expound on finding an area of trucking to master as an owner operator.
Well, I mean, it depends on what specifically, like, what he's talking about. There's so many different areas. Like I said, I believe the most important thing for an owner operator to master is going to be finances. You know, becoming a guru of finances and breaking them all down, expecting the unexpected. You know, looking at, you know, if you look at these generic type of large breakdowns that happen at certain intervals, and then you can almost predict the future, you know, in a way. You're not really, you know, you happen to know that a turbo, you know, should only last 700,000-800,000 miles. So, you know, I go back to the same example. It's easy. If you have that money sitting in your account, then when the turbo goes out, because it's inevitable, you have that money, you're able to get it done right then. You don't need to borrow the money, so now you're not paying interest on, you know, on everything. You know, if you have enough money where if you're paying for your insurance, if you have your own carrier, if you pay your own insurance in one lump sum, you get a discount rather than paying it monthly. It's these dollar bills that you can save along the way by being kind of a financial guru are going to ultimately make you a profitable owner operator. And it starts with the truck, even before becoming your own carrier, having your own authority. It starts with just the truck and just the maintenance of the truck. And, you know, you can prepare all day, but trucking loves to throw curveballs. So,
Every
you know,
day.
it is, I mean,
every day.
you never know. But
every day. I'm a company driver, and I see curveballs every day, man.
Oh yeah.
Driven man, again, thank you for coming on. Let's jump into your hold on right quick. Let's jump into your YouTube, man. You started your YouTube back up in 2018. and already 32 subscribers, man. Congratulations. Well, you got 38. I'm sorry, but you got one extra one in me because I subscribe to you. Make sure you guys hit that bell and all that good stuff. For the people that's not subscribed to my man, I'll put his, let me see, I'll put it right here in the chat for you guys. Tell us a little bit about your YouTube page and what you want people to get out of it.
My YouTube page is mainly for teaching. You know, I kind of learned YouTube like I learned trucking along the way, and I've kind of figured it out here fairly recently. But what I mainly stick to on this channel is just the teaching side of things. You'll see some other stuff in there as well, but for the most part, it's kind of directed at new truck drivers. There's some owner-operator stuff in there, and then there's some entertainment videos in there as well, like that CB video. You know, I've got some goofball stuff, so you know, this one is mainly directed at teaching. And then I'm actually about to fire up I've already fired it up. There's a vlog channel that's out there, and but I'm about to go crazy on it in 2021. So you guys heard it here first. It's about to fire back up in 2021.
That's what's up. Like I said, I've been following you for quite a while, man, and you do have some excellent videos, as well as the production quality of your videos as well, man. I mean, you take a little bit, of time and effort to get your channel. What makes your channel stands out from the herd?
Man, I don't know, man. I just try to tell it like it is, you know, just try to show the good, but I also try to show the bad. I try to show, you know, just the truth about trucking. I try not to feed any BS out here. You know, try to tell people what to look out for, try to teach people. You know, the production quality is always nice, but I don't know if it's necessarily, that's necessarily a huge factor. I think the most important thing is just about the content, and then just about being genuine, you know? So that's just what I try to do. And, hopefully it comes across that way, you know, that's what I aim for.
So this one video right here I've seen, I freaking enjoyed this video right here, man. This video right here was, in my opinion, was so powerful. You said in this video, you were saying that, you know, trucking destroyed you, and, you know, you was telling your experience.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want people to get out of this particular video right here, man?
Well, you know, keep in mind the titles on YouTube. We kind of have to title them a certain way to make sure that everybody clicks on the video. You know, what I really want people to understand is that it can destroy you. You know, especially if anything that I talked about in that video goes unchecked. You know, the main purpose of that video was to talk about depression, and especially being out here in the trucking industry. We're out here, if you're a solo driver, you're out here, you're all by yourself. We don't get a whole lot of human interaction. We get a lot of negativity all day long, from, you know, four-wheelers cutting us off to other truck drivers cutting us off. I mean, you know, just people kind of being like jackasses. And when you're soaking in that, when you're soaking in that negativity all day long, you don't even understand what's going on, like on a subconscious level. And years of that can absolutely destroy you. And so, you know, it's something. What I want people to understand is you got to take care of yourself out here. You've got to take care of yourself, but that doesn't just mean physically, very much means mentally. And so I'm certainly going to make more videos about that particular topic, you know, in 2021, because it's very, very important. It's very dear to me. And, you know, I didn't go into this in the video, but, you know, by all rights, I shouldn't even be here. So I'm thankful to even be here, to be able to make these videos, to be able to have this conversation. And so I don't want anybody to struggle with that.
I got you. Before I get into my next question, Screech has a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I want to make the jump from company driver to owner op next year, probably to Landstar. What Driven's best advice? What's your best advice for him for making the jump?
I would say, I always go back to the financial education. I guess since I harped on that, I'll choose something else. I would say assess your mechanical abilities. That's really going to save you the most money out here, is being able to preventatively work on the truck rather than reactively fixing broke stuff. So if you can give yourself an idea of, like what goes wrong on trucks in certain intervals, or what needs to be done, if you have at least a decent idea of maintenance wise what you're going to need, and here's a generic cost per mile. This is very generic. This is all trucks are different, but as generic, if it's like a 300,000 to 400,000 mile truck, use about 12 cents per mile. If it's about 500,000 plus or more on the truck, bump it up to 15 cents a mile. And then just do the math. If you average like 10,000 miles a month, 15 cents a mile, it's about $1,500 a month. That's on average what you're going to spend for little things that go wrong. It does not include breakdowns. So understand, you got to also have money set aside for those things. If you're left on the side of the road, the hook is expensive. So, just really prepare yourself for that, the maintenance side of things. And if you expect to run across these things, if you expect to spend $1,500 a month plus breakdowns, then you will probably survive. And I highly recommend definitely leasing onto a carrier like Landstar. They have the dedicated freight, and they've got the backing. Your cost is going to be super low, and you're never going to be. Yeah, I'm not going to say never, but you're most likely not going to be stranded out there on the road with looking for a load.
Now, Driven, you said something. You said something that kind of piqued my curiosity. You said that you not even supposed to be here. I mean, I could probably feel you on that. What happened?
Well, this was before. Well, no, this wasn't before. I haven't talked about this on the channel yet, but I took a bunch of pills, and tried to end it, and thankfully I was unsuccessful. I had an upstairs bedroom, and that, like, there just happened to be a plumber working on my bathroom that day. So whenever I woke up that morning, I wasn't feeling very well. I had to run downstairs. When I ran downstairs, I passed out, and my aunt saw me, found me, and called the hospital. And so yeah, that's what happened.
Well, I am glad that you're here, and for anybody because I myself, I have a bout with depression as well. So if anybody, I will put this phone number in the chat for you guys. This is the prevention hotline. So if any one of you drivers out there just feel the need that y'all need to talk to somebody, you can give them a call. You could probably give me a call, and I'm sure you could get in contact with Driven. You could give him a call, and we could be the ear. That's all people need, is just somebody to be there to listen. And it's just the change. My fault, Screech. My bad, Chaplain too. Go ahead and put your number. Go ahead and put your number in the chat, Screech. Trucking with Kersey, she has a question. She says, is it better to buy new with a warranty or buy used outright and save for repairs?
That's a tough one, Kiersey. That's a tough one. because I don't recommend anyone getting into that new truck payment, or that new truck payment. That new truck payment is astronomical. A lot of times warranty doesn't necessarily cover everything. And I know that sounds funny, you hear bumper to bumper warranty, but it doesn't always cover all of it. I'm going to have to say for your first truck to buy used, and just understand that that you're going to have to repair it. You're going to have to maintain it. And that's going to teach you to, be profitable with, it's not necessarily a problematic truck, but, just teaches you how to be profitable along the way, because, your old truck may not have a lot of repairs. I've been very blessed with my truck. My truck doesn't really break down. I wish I could make, I'm not gonna say I wish I could make more of those videos, but I enjoy it when I get to actually put those videos out there, because it just hardly ever happens. So, you may not get a bad truck, you may get a good one. And, but if you're prepared for those repairs, then you're going to be in much better shape. That new truck payment is just so high. It's so high. And to be profitable with your very first truck on a brand new truck, it's very, very unlikely. There's situations that it could happen, but it's the majority of the time it's unlikely.
Trucking owner ops he says, what about buying used certified rebuild truck?
I mean, that's certainly a good way to go. I'm assuming he's talking about pre-emission trucks that have rebuilds on them. You definitely want to make sure that the rebuild was done at a dealer with the paperwork. That's like, gotta have that. Especially if you're talking about a cat. Cat 100% needs to be rebuilt at the dealer, because there's some things that needs to be done with the liners, etc. I don't need to get into all that. But like a Detroit 60 series, well, you may be a little bit more lax about that one, because kind of anybody, any decent mechanic can rebuild a Detroit 60 series. So, I would say number one thing is just make sure it's got the papers, and that you can verify with the people that rebuilt it, that dealer specifically. Call them and say, hey, did you rebuild this truck? You should be able to give them the invoice number, and they should be able to look it up.
Bill Worm says Landstar don't like you doing YouTube videos.
No, that's not true. I understand what you're saying, but that's not quite the whole truth there, Bill. I do appreciate it though. Thank you.
Let's talk about companies. Let's talk about companies and these drivers, YouTubers that maybe promote their company, talk about their company and all like that. Now, I used to be that YouTuber driver. Sure. I was with you. I was not US Express, but if you type in JNR Schwugel,
yeah,
there I am. Everything is on the map. You know what I'm saying? That's. I mean, but I did that for a number of reasons. Number one, I was building the content for the channel at that time, but I built it so much that everybody was interested in the company. Everybody was in, and I brought a gang of people to the point that they came to me and say, yo, if we give you a little bit extra, will you continue saying, JNR Schwugel? Oh, hell yeah. JNR Schwugel in every video. But after I left JNR Schwugel, I kind of felt that if I'm not getting paid to promote the company, because it's like they getting free promotion out of you. You promote US Express. Yo, I'm here at US Express, yada yada yada. That's free promotion for them. I'm sure these companies have like a ad budget, right? I mean, they go on they go on Facebook all the time and pay for the ads. Why not pay the the drivers a little bit more to promote the company? How do you feel about that?
A lot of them do. A lot of them do. It's one of those things that I'm fine with it. I'm good with it, actually. And the reason I'm good with it is because that's just advertisement. It's just a different form of advertisement. And it's the advertisement that we're moving towards, in the future. You see a lot of these commercials, in the different ads that are on YouTube. And you're starting to see bigger companies move into the space. Nike, you're starting to see all these huge car companies are now, spending more money on ads for YouTube than they are, their TV budget. So it's just natural that, the ultimate ad is an influencer, I hate that word, but
right?
that talks about, an ad. And me personally, I will only work with companies that I truly believe in. It may be a brand new product that I've never heard of before, but as long as I use it and I put my stamp of approval on it, then I'm good. But I am good with advertising that particular company. I get ads, I get emails almost daily about different products and stuff that that I can pitch on my channel, but I just don't do it because I don't believe in it. I can't even tell you how much money I would have made last year if I had pitched everything to everybody. But these guys that are talking about their companies in particular, they're making a killing. But it's one of those things, like, they work for the company. So is it bad? I mean, they're there, they're doing it. They're feeding their family by working for that particular company. Obviously they're being treated right, but at the same time, you got to understand that they have a different setup than everybody else does. They're going to get, they're going to get miles. Like, they want to keep that YouTuber happy. They're going to get good loads.
That's what that's what J&R Frugal did for me. I mean, I tell everybody that my experience is not going to be your experience over here. Right. You're not going to make the kind of money I'm making over here. I'm just saying. But after I had left, everybody was wondering, what the new company that I was with at that time, they wanted to know who I worked for. Yo, Lockout, who you work for? Who you work for? Who you work for? And I just didn't want to say because, number one, it was a local company. You gotta live 50 miles, 50-mile radius. That's number one. They're not gonna hire you from Florida, from Texas, and all like that. Then another thing, I started noticing that a lot of YouTubers, when they did mention their companies, they got people that call up their companies and say, hey, I saw your driver in the parking lot over here arguing with somebody in the parking lot. Like, bro, really?
Yeah, they're all up in our business, man.
Right. So now I just feel that if I'm going to talk about a company, I think I should at least get something for it. But it's not a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of cool not mentioning the company I work for. But if you call me on the side, then we could talk one-on-one. Trucking with Kersey, thank you for being a member. I appreciate it. Bill, hold on. Okay, I think Heavy Haul Nation is in the building. If he's not, I believe he could pretty much answer that question for you, Bill. Let's see. Bee's knees. Resto, he's commenting on Bill. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, Bill, here you go. Bill says, is freight slowing down because of the election?
Probably. We're kind of in limbo here. You know, it just in general, when a Democrat is in office, it's bad for the trucking business. It's bad for the oil and gas business. And, you know, they almost always kind of suffer together. So because we don't know exactly what's going to happen, you know, with I mean, the news is feeding us a bunch of BS right now. So we don't really know exactly what's going on with all of that. We don't truly know what the outcome is going to be. Yeah, I think it probably is. I think that just in general, though, you know, the freight kind of slows down this week in particular. And then, of course, you know, like the first of the year is really not all that great either. But yeah, I certainly think so. And I do think that 2021 is going to be based on the outcome of this election, unfortunately. So.
Junior Hernandez, what's going on, brother, man? Thank you for being in the show tonight. I appreciate it. Let's see. Before we get up out of here, Driven, let's talk a little bit about this year, man. You being the owner operator, you know, me being the company driver, I mean, with this craziness that went on, didn't affect me as hard as other people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I said, I'm a company driver. I'm still gonna get whatever miles that they gonna, you know, that they send for me or something like that. What has it for you? What has it been for you?
Well, I got lucky. I got lucky that I left the spot market and went to Landstar when I did, because I went to Landstar like right before kind of the freight really dropped off. It was already kind of bad, and I don't remember exactly when I made that transition. Like maybe it was either February or March. Don't remember exactly, but you know, Landstar they've got quite a bit of dedicated freight, and those rates are locked in. And so I was still making good money whenever I was hauling, you know, kind of Landstar freight throughout this year. The guys that were running the spot market, that were running, you know, platform, generally weren't doing good, you know, or weren't doing as well. And I mean, I can tell you, man, if I didn't make that move to Landstar, I don't know if I would have survived. You know, it was kind of dumb luck. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I was able to foresee what was coming, and I popped off the spot market and went to Landstar. That would be cool, but I'm not that smart, man. I just got lucky, and I happened to be at Landstar whenever all this went down. So, you know,
that's what's up. Well, everybody, I do appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you. Driven got to get up in the morning, so I'm not going to hold him too much longer. But Nevada Trucking Nails has something to say. He says, curious what you guys think of building a fleet with full lease trucks, less profit but less risk when putting drivers in the seat. It's Nevada Trucking and Trails, by the way.
Oh, I can answer that question for you. And I hate to, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but go look at Woody's channel, man. It just is what it is. That's exactly what he did. He built his fleet on lease trucks. They weren't necessarily lease purchase, but I mean, it was essentially the same thing. You know, he was taking these massive loans out, buying his trucks from Prime. I think it was Prime. Not sure about the company. Have to double check that, but you know, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 trucks, and he built it pretty quickly. It was trucks that were still under warranty, etc. So it's the same thing. And he had 9 trucks. He had 9, and by the numbers, he should have been successful. He closed it down. So,
wow,
I don't think it's a good idea.
Wow. Driven Trucking, everybody. Before we get up out of here, how did you come up with the name? I love the logo.
I appreciate it.
How did you come up with the name and the logo?
The name, I was brainstorming, man. I wanted to come up with something catchy, and I knew that I wanted trucking to be in it, kind of for YouTube analytics. You know, I'm always right brain, always thinking about that. But so driven trucking, I was like, oh yeah, that's great. And so I just rolled with that. And then man, the logo actually was created by the company that made the tarps for me. One of the guys there was kind of getting his feet wet with graphic design, and he was like, "Hey, do you like this?" I was like, "Dude, that's awesome!" Like, I just got lucky, man. He made that for me. He actually made my background art too. That's on the top of my channel, so the banner, and yeah. So that's how I got that.
Well, that's what's up, brother, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on to the show, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, man. It's been a ball, man. Like I said, not two people that can get me excited.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Thanks.
So thank you very much, man. You have a good night.
Absolutely.
And I'm about to close out the show, so stay on for a hot minute and let me close out the show. That's it for this episode of the Lockoutmen Podcast Show, everybody. Thank you for being here. Everybody, thank you, Kersey, for joining the channel. I really do appreciate it. Every little bit helps. You know, I got my it's not coffee. It's close enough, though. Close enough. But thank you, Kersey. And I'm still waiting. I'm just saying. It's like, you know, I already tossed out that. But anyway, if you guys like content like this and more, don't forget to like, and then you could do everything else. All right, but just the like. Make sure that you like the channel. Make sure you like the videos. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe, comment, all that other good stuff. This is for the ladies. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but if you guys don't, please follow me on Instagram. I'm just saying. At Lockoutmen. But this is for the ladies. Ladies, I got a Mally's chocolate giveaway for Valentine's Day. All right. Get your name in the pot. And the way to do it, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. That's number one. Number two, hashtag Molly's chocolate over on Instagram. You know, will you hit me over at Instagram, probably hit me up in the direct messaging and just say hashtag Molly's chocolate and comment Molly's chocolate. I will put your name in. We'll pick about 5, and somebody gonna get some chocolates from good old Lockoutmen for Valentine's Day. Now, here's the flip side of that. If I don't get enough people in, that join, then I'm just gonna take random names. And then I'm going to put them on that spinning wheel, and then we just go from there. I'm just saying. Until next time, everybody, I appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you very much. I will come back at you guys with another one. Yo, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? No, Tuesday, right? Driven?
I think tomorrow's Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. I think I got another one for you guys tomorrow. I don't have nothing set for Thursday or Friday, but I got another one for you guys tomorrow. So stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. And we are out.
Cause baby, once I'm gone, I ain't coming back. You gon' have to settle with another man. But when you realize, don't be running back. Ain't no sunshine